Well, good midday to you one and all. This is the day that the Lord has made. We shall rejoice and be glad in it. And for that, we bless his holy name. Because I get stuck on this every now and then because the Lord is good. Oh, bless his holy name. The Lord is good. The Lord is good and greatly to be praised. And so we just want to welcome each and every one of you to our snapshot, praying consistently for your health, your strength, your prosperity, that God will show himself mighty in your life to an unbelievable magnitude, that you will be astonished at what God can do. Good midday, Doe Dickey. Bless you all the way from the borough of Midland, Pennsylvania. Thank you so much for being here with us. Minister Sarah Jenkins, thank you. Carletta Williams, thank you. The Mafia Boss. The Mafia Boss? Oh my God. Oh, okay. That's what the pastor of Mount Carmel said. That is so funny. That is just hilarious. Okay. And so we're just thankful to God for that. Pastor Calvert called me the Mafia Boss while I was down there with them in revival last night. And thank y'all, one and all, for your support on last night. It was greatly appreciated. Minister Faith Thornton, bless you for being here. Cora Jones, bless you. Yeah, I'm off the ladder. I'm off the ladder. Billy Dunn, bless you for being here. Sabrina Brandon, thank you. Yeah, he called me that. That was amazing. Valerie White, how are you? Thank you so much. Vernice Bird, you staying out of trouble. You taking Cora's place. I have to double check just to make sure, that all is well. And so we're thankful to God for each and every one of you. Please share, please share. I see Valerie. Please share, please share, please share, please share, please share. We're just going to continue to be what God would have us to be. Okay, that was funny when he said it, because I kind of thought I heard that, but where I was sitting, you really couldn't hear that well. So we're just grateful to God for each and every one of you. Debbie Johnson, thank you for being here with us. Okay. So if you don't mind, whatever platform you're on, just hit that share button. You hit that share button and let people know that Tuesday's midweek worship is going on. Okay. Oh my God. No, she did not. Heard the way he said that is so funny, Sabrina. I just don't know what I'm gonna do. Kathy Wilson and LMA Baldry, thank you so much for being here with us on today. And so we are again thankful to God for the opportunity to be able to be among the saints one more time. Barbara Foots, bless you. Thank you. Thank you for being here. Again, we're going to say it again and 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 again. Elder James Mansell, thank you for being here. Please share, please share, please share. Please share, please share. Thea Grace, thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you for all that you have done. Pee Wee Platt from Columbus, Ohio, thank you for being here on this great mid snapshot. I almost said midweek, got mixed up. Midweek is not until tomorrow night, and so we're grateful to God. Timothy Blair, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you so for being here. I got one more minute, and then I'm going to begin, and I will begin with a couple of questions. I'm going to skip one part of the passage because I'm going to do that tomorrow. Thank you so much. I appreciate that, Thea. It was an honor and a privilege to be able to share in March Madness at the Mount Carmel Community Baptist Church in Steubenville. And I thank you for your prayers and your support. I was able to see some of you, but I had to focus. It's when I'm teaching, I can look at you and talk back to you, but when I'm preaching, that's a different situation. So I really wasn't able to do that. But so I'm grateful to God for all of you who supported. Okay. So we are just grateful to God. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Gina. I appreciate that. I really do. I appreciate it. Sandra Overton, thank you for being here with us on today. James, thank you so much for letting us know that all is well. And again, the Lord does what the Lord does. And the funny thing that was so amazing about yesterday or last night, hey, Yana Walker, bless you, is how many people came up to me and said, "Oh, I didn't know you could sing. You've been down here. You ain't never sang before." And I don't remember. I don't really think I sing that well, but I sing to the glory of God. Here's the question. Y'all ready? Y'all ready? Y'all ready? Y'all ready for the question? Sean Tanner, bless you, my friend. Thank you for being here with us on today. When the Lord takes a look at you, what does he see? You know, that is the foundational question that we ask. So we have a couple of things that we want to add to it. And by doing so, I say, and so we just want to kind of take a look at some. Winnie Howard, bless you for being here. Thank you so much. Is your life stable or shaky? Lady Bowling, bless you so much for being here with us. Is your life stable or shaky? Tamika, bless you for being here, okay? Darwin, I got it right. Okay, Dolores Brady, good midday to you. Thank you so much for being here. Is your life stable or shaky? Elder Boundary, bless you for being here. And here's the next question. Have you created your own failures? Have you created your own failures? Oh, boy, it's going to be interesting, isn't it? Because for the most part, all of us in our walk with God was on shaky ground. Elder Pam Mansell, thank you for being here. We all were on shaky ground. We didn't know much. We didn't have much knowledge. We had a great deal of enthusiasm because we were excited about who we were in the Lord. And so we had a lot of excitement, but no knowledge. Many of us in our earlier stages and walks with God had, for the most part, no real understanding on how to have a foundation that you can build your life on. For the most part, we didn't have many mentors. And then some of the mentors we had probably helped to develop some of the shakiness that has happened in our lives, because for them, that was probably the best example that they could give, due to the fact that they just may not have had that much knowledge of the Lord. And the funny thing about it is, because we really didn't have good knowledge or understanding, and then our fellowship with God, the relationship was there, but our fellowship with God was so shaky that we kind of did some things that we thought God was in. We kind of did some things that we thought God was leading us to do. And eventually, somewhere along the line, we ended up in the camp of failure. We basically blamed everybody else for our failures. We basically said, if this person would have treated me better, if this person would have acted a certain way, if this person would have loved me, if this person would have cared for me, if this person would have nurtured me, if this person would have respected me, if this person would have adored me and told me the very things that I needed to hear. I might be a little better off than maybe where I was or where I am right now. And so because of that, we have not really been able, or just now coming into the knowledge of what it means to have a firm foundation. And that's the truth, Minister Sarah. Many of us grew up in church, but not much foundation. Oh, Lord, I'm going to get in trouble for this. Lisa Finney, how are you? Good midday to you. Tell mom, dad, we said hello. Got to think about this. Many of us were born and raised in the church. We knew the songs. We knew the closings of the preacher. We knew all of that stuff, but there really wasn't much of a challenge. Chaplain Hearns, thank you for being here to really learn. In the infant stages of our learning, we probably learned more then than we learned during the preteen, teen, and adolescent stages, because at that time there were other allurements that were getting our attention. But the thing that kept us was the fact that there was at least a modicum of foundation for us to fall back on. And so we got into relationships and walked down the aisle and didn't have a clue who the other person was. And then when we found out who they were, they didn't like us. We didn't like them. We got to talk about this. Okay. No, there was no real challenge. Okay. There was no real push to understand the deep things of God, because for the most part, many of us were in superficial situations, and that was the best we knew. That was the best that could be delivered. That was the best that those people that were around us knew. We had the basic Sunday school lessons, and we didn't go to Bible study, and prayer meeting only had a few folk in it. And so in the midst of that, we basically depended upon what we heard on Sunday morning, whether it was accurate or not. It was the best that could be offered. Many of us could have been exposed to more eloquent and educated pastoring. But for the most part, during that particular period of time, those pastors did the very best they could. They provided for us the very best that they knew how. But even in the midst of that, there was no challenge to learn beyond what you had gleaned from that limited presentation. Teach, Pastor. I'm doing the best I know how. Carolyn Williams, good midday to you. And so we went through the hard knocks of life and didn't know what to do. We made so many mistakes. We started having children, and things started happening, and the kids went crazy because the parents were still crazy, and the grandparents were leaving off the scene, and they weren't there anymore because they were, for the most part, the stabilizing anchor that we had. And then we didn't really like the anchor because the anchors didn't allow us the freedom to be ourselves. So the problem is, in the midst of being ourselves, we basically destroyed ourselves. We destroyed our families. We destroyed our love life. We destroyed our children. We destroyed our husbands, our wives. We destroyed cousins and nephews and things. And in the midst of that, and I know this is tight. I know it is. I know it is tight. And that's the reason why we started searching for other things to give us some level of fulfillment. We started drinking and in the church, but drinking because we needed fulfillment. We needed to anesthetize ourselves from the situations that we, even in many situations and circumstances, we created ourselves, though we never did acknowledge that it was actually our fault. Shirley, bless you for being here with us. LaVonda Jones. And so we began to compromise. We began to settle for that which was less than what the Lord originally intended for us to live. And then all of a sudden, when we were challenged, we got an attitude with the who does he think they are to judge me in the midst of all of that, not realizing that there was a real good possibility that the presentation that was being made had nothing to do with them judging you, but it had everything to do with the real good possibility that the word of the Lord convicted you of behavior that you really weren't willing to look at. I'm guilty of that. There was a whole lot of stuff I just didn't want to hear, didn't want to be bothered with, didn't want to do any of that stuff because I wasn't listening. I was my own man. I could do what I want to do, especially when I left the house. When I left the house, I was my own person, not realizing that I was still crippled. I was still wounded. I didn't have everything that I needed, but I malfunctioned my way. Oh God, in the earlier years of my life and made mistakes with my children and all of that kind of stuff. And yet still God, y'all better hear this, waited on me, was merciful even in the midst of my ignorance. I'm talking about me. I don't know about anybody else, but I'm just kind of dealing with this. And then we want to get mad at our children, not realizing we planted the seed. We were the ones going to church and still partying because I still got to find a way to get relief, because the joy that I had in the church only lasted as long as I was in the building. And as soon as I left the building, man, my joy was gone. So what do? I go back to what I knew how to do. I wasn't trusting God financially, so I gambled. I did all kinds of, even though I really wasn't a gambler. But I mean, there were days when we would get together and do all kind of stuff. And, you know, because back then gambling wasn't at the casinos. We just did what we did. Illegal number playing, all of that. My dad used to tell me the stories about how they had to quit giving out the hymn numbers in the church because the saints would go back and play that number. Am I talking to anybody? Am I speaking to anybody? Because I'm talking about myself. I'm not all up in your, I'm just talking about how I was raised. I'm a PK. I was born in a house with the saints of God who only could give us the very best they could. But in the midst of it, it still wasn't enough to have a solid foundation, because even they themselves were living shaky lives and they had become accustomed to it. So Jesus challenges us. Jesus challenges us. Jesus challenges us in Matthew chapter 7, verses 24 and 25. In Matthew chapter 7, verses 24 and 25. And then those people who were really living the abundant life, we were jealous of them. They had understood the principles of what it meant to walk with God, and God was blessing them. And here we are, wasting money, wasting life, doing all kinds of things, thinking that that was going to make us happy. And all it did was make us miserable. But we realized how to mask the misery while we're there in the midst of the saints. Minister Sarah Jenkins, that's baby boomers. Yes, we're that generation that should have been the glue to the next one, but somebody came along with some stuff and wiped all the glue away. Look at what he says. Therefore, whoever hears these sayings of mine and does them is like a wise man who builds his house on a rock. And I don't know about anybody else, but I'm too old to be shaky. Whoo! I've been through too much to be shoddy and shaky and all of that other kind of stuff. Look at what it says. It says, and when the rain descends and the floods came and the wind blew and it beat on the house, it didn't fall because it was founded on a rock. Maybe my marriage would have been successful if I was founded on the rock. Maybe my children, I wouldn't have struggled with them like I did if I had built my house on a rock. Maybe relationships. Let's forget the children and the husbands and wives. Let's talk about the dating process. Might have been just a little bit better because he might have been a good man, but he didn't know the Lord. But guess what? I didn't care because that's what was taught during that time. It didn't matter whether he went to church or not realizing that marrying an unsaved person places children in a situation, because when you're born in sin and shaped in iniquity, you don't want church. You want to be able to stay with the parent that stays at home. because rain will fall, because winds will blow, because lightning will flash, because thunder will roll, because you will find yourself in positions where you don't know what to do. Can I go a little bit further? Or you actually feel like quitting, giving up, even quitting life. But if you are built up, because I don't care who you are, I don't care how much you shout, I don't care how much you dance, I don't care how much you speak in tongues, I don't care anything about that. Life is going to come with issues. Life is going to come with challenges. Life is going to come with misconceptions and misconcepts. Life is going to come with some things that are going to shake the very foundation of your existence. Life is going to come with some things that are not only going to shake your foundation, but will shake your faith. But if you have built your walk with God on the word of God, the truth of God, you will be anchored. Oh, and we sing that song, you know, though the storms keep on raging in my life, and sometimes I can't tell the night from day, but yet there's a hope that's reassured. Y'all, are y'all hearing what I'm saying? Why? Because my soul has been anchored in the Lord. But how did my soul get anchored? It got anchored because of a consistent injustice. That's the reason why I'm challenging people this year to learn and to memorize scripture. And the reason I'm doing that is so that your anchor will be, you know, it will hold and grip the solid rock, so that when the flood comes, and it will, when the rain comes, and it will, when the lightning flashes, and it will, when the storms and the winds blow, and it will, you have something that when you feel like giving up won't let you go. God, I wish I had somebody. Okay, let me calm down. And the only reason I get excited about it is because I haven't always been where I am right now. The reason that I feel so much power under the anointing of the Holy Ghost is because I have not always been secure. I have not always been grounded. I have not always been anchored, but my soul, Minister Marcia Walker, is anchored in the Lord. Because if I don't get anchored, then we're going to find ourselves in verse 26. But whoever, but if anyone who hears these sayings of mine and does not do them is like a foolish person who builds their house on sand. And when the rain descends, the flood came and the wind blew, the house is destroyed because it has no solid foundation. All other ground is sinking sand. On Christ, the solid rock I stand. And so you got to know that as things happen, as things move on, you got to know who you are. You can't guess about it. You've got to know who you are, Pastor Jennings. You can't vacillate over that. You've got to know who you are. You got to know that he's there. You got to know that he'll provide. You got to know that he'll take care of you. You got to know that he'll guide you. You got to know that he'll discipline you. You got to know. Why will he discipline you? Those that he loves, he's got to discipline so that you don't go off on your own. And so when you get this, because you got to get it, you got to get it, you got to get it, you got to get it for yourself. You got to know it for yourself. You got to believe it for yourself. You got to have faith in it for yourself, because when the madness comes, you will not lose your mind. And you might want to lose it, but because your soul is anchored in the Lord. My God, my God, my God, my God. So when the billows roll and the breakers dash, I won't sway because he holds me fast. So the course, so some failures, Mary Ross, some failures I created. because I chose not to know better. I chose, as water chooses the path of least resistance. I chose to be miserable and didn't even know what misery was. I chose to have bad days, but when I do an evaluation, my good days outweigh my bad days. And that's why I won't complain. Woo. Listen, I gotta go. I gotta go. I gotta go. Thank y'all so much for giving me this time to share with you. I pray that you are strengthened, that you are encouraged, challenged, because when the storms come, might not be a snapshot available. When issues come, might not be a midweek worship available or a Sunday morning worship to be available. There's some things that you need to know that you 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 know. And by doing so, you can testify, it is well with my soul. Listen, I love y'all so much. I love y'all with the love of Jesus Christ. And my prayer is, thank you, Pee Wee. I appreciate that. I tried to sing the best I know how. And I'm off the ladder. I just got tired of waiting. And God is still able to do above and beyond all we could ask or think. See you tomorrow at 12. It'll be 12 noon tomorrow. And then don't forget that midweek worship is at 6:30 tomorrow night. Y'all be blessed. Be strong in the Lord and in the power of his might. May God bless you. May he keep you is our prayer. No, I did not take my water up the ladder, but I got it right here. Did you drink your water and eat healthy? Make sure you do. So not only is your soul anchored, but your body is made strong by the power of good, healthy eating. May God bless you and keep you is our prayer.